What's up my people, you're in the place for Triple D Conversation. My name is Tristan Deves and today we're going to be doing a consistency check of this deck. The DDD profile that I've just released on my channel, it's actually doing amazingly well right now because almost every time you're able to go into your combo. Now I'm going to try and leave this video unedited as possible, at least for the drawing. So once you've seen me draw, I'm then going to have the ability to kind of edit the frames just in case I do make any actual misplays. But other than that, it's going to be completely raw footage, it's going to be completely unedited, and hopefully it's going to be up to your guys' standards. So we're going to start off with just a quick 5-card rinse. Just giving a waterfall like this allows us to go straight into a nice shuffle without actually really knowing the odds. You can actually manipulate this, but to be honest, I don't have the time for that. I don't have the effort to actually look into the probability and the magic behind it all. It just seems like too much of a waste of my time to figure out doing. Also, I do want to note, guys, that the actual card sleeves themselves, they have been utilized for a long time, but there's no discrepancies on them. There's no like generic tearing of any of the cards. I actually change the monsters in them up so often that I never know what's in what, and it's always just a switch arounds because I'm always changing my decks up. So that at the end of the day is how it goes, and yeah. Almost done there. We're gonna then put these guys together, give them a quick shuffle. Now the reason I do that waterfall system is just because I'm not great at shuffling and sometimes I end up dropping my cards like so. So at the end of the day, this is kind of the only reason I really go into that, and I just make sure I grab some cards out from the middle there and we're Gucci. Right, so I'm going to start off with 5 cards. We're going to imagine we won that die roll. 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool, perfect, boom. Let's go. So we've got a Swirl Slime, we've got a Ragnarok, we've got a Reinforcement of the Army, we've got a Savin Kepler, and we've got our Effect Veiler. So in reality, this here is actually a winning combo. Just due to the fact that we have our Swirl Slime and Kepler already, we already know what we need. All we need here is a Lamia, but we also have the Reinforcement of the Army that can give us the Armageddon Knight, going with the DD Oblivion King Ragnarok alongside the Swirl Slime, alongside a spare Savin Kepler, which gives us the gate, giving us the ability for the Copernicus, if we need, giving us the ability to add Copernicus to our hand or adding Lamia from our deck to our hand. So we actually have all the potentials here that we need. The only downside is we do have to use that normal summon early for the Armageddon Knight, but that's with the Reinforcement of the Army, and that's why this card is so essential to it. However, we did also pull a hand trap, which is what I was talking about in the last video. You do have that almost 50% chance to pull one of your 6 hand traps in your first starting hand. So that is pretty fantastic. If we were to go second, we would have also received a Lamia as well. So that's fantastic. So instantly, we know just straight up, we have our combination of cards to get into our massive PK package, alongside going into Kali Yuga, alongside having rank up magic, and then going into everything else alongside it. So we already have the 3 cards we need just from going second, and that's how consistent this deck is. You saw me shuffle at the start, there was no rigging, anything like that. We're going to go straight again. Obviously I'm going to have to shuffle these up big time. I'm only going to go for 3 in the waterfall this time, just because quite frankly, it is a long process to get these all done. So I'm going to keep going there, keep going. That one's gone off to the side. My bad, there we are, there we are, there we are. So as I said, it is a bit distracting, I know, like obviously going for playtesting, you want to kind of just use a computer in reality, but I find that actually testing the cards and trying to use your brain as opposed to staring at a screen, kind of, it makes me feel more comfortable with actually playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself. Otherwise I just feel like I'm playing another online game, and to be honest, as much as it is fun playing things on the computer, playing things on PS5, I'm not really a fan of Xbox, but if my friend's got one, I'll jump on one. I just don't really, I don't know, something about this, just doing it on a play mat, play testing, I can get some of my friends involved, they can come test it out as well, they can test out their decks. It just gives me that kind of a nicer feel to it. So there we go, going first again, let's see what we got. Start off, we've got a Necro Slime. Now this is using the combo, so that's nice. We've got an Allure of Darkness, so if we don't pull our combo pieces, we have access to it. We have our Ash Blossom, there's our hand trap. We have our Ragnarok. That one is actually least likely to come up in the deck just because it's at 2 instead of 3, but still we got another DD, which is fantastic, and we also got access to Wear Off Thou. So we know that with Necro Slime we have the accessibility to go into something from the field, going into LiQWYD, sending him to the grave, giving us a Wear Off Thou as well from the Necro Slime itself to give us Lamia to our hand, or even better, giving us the Kepler to go into a special summon potentially down the road. But we'd most likely do a Lure of Darkness here, so we get that draw 2. Sadly, we got an Effect Veiler and a Wear Off Thou, so this is more of kind of a defensive play, so it's not as good. Now, if we were to go second, we would receive that other card. It's another Necro Slime, so that's a bit of a shame. Not the consistency that I wanted to see, but as I said, it happens 50% of the time as opposed to 100%. So it's not the most perfect deck, but in comparison to other splashable decks, you've got the Zephyr deck, Zephyr DDDs. Now, Zephyr is a great archetype by itself, but not when it's splashed into others. And hear me out on that. If you're adding Zephyr to every other DDD deck or whatever other deck you want to create, you are then having pieces that you may not want to see. And obviously things like Electromite, when that was a thing, you had the mythical beasts. Now, mythical beasts were fantastic. You could obviously do the whole setting your scales, summoning from the scales. I think it was Jackal that was able to do it, bringing another monster out from your deck, sending it to the extra deck, bringing it back out, having the Kepler on the field, going into Electromite, which would do more stuff. So it was just absolutely crazy. But obviously Electromite is banned, so there's no point doing it. Now I'm just going to give it a normal shuffle here because I'm not too interested in going through that waterfall process every single time. Cool, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome, fantastic. Right, so to start off with, we've got an Ash, there's that hand trap again, there's the Necro Slime, it's looking positive, Swirl Slime, and we have our Kepler as well of Ash Blossom of Joyous Spring. So shame we got 2 Ashes, that wasn't what we were looking for, but we did get our Swirl Slime, our Necro, and our Savant. Now there isn't a combination with all 3 of these, and sadly Ash Blossom can't go into the actual combo itself, but if you do have another monster that just requires one other monster and it can be turned into a Dark Link, for example, say you would just normal summon the Ash Blossom, it gives you a dark monster, instantly we have what we need here to create the full combo. So it does work in the same sense. You could even still go for a normal summon, getting your gate, going gate into Copernicus, using gate Copernicus and Swirl Slime to fusion summon for a Flame King Genghis. Once you've got Flame King Genghis, you're then going to use Swirl Slime's ability, banish him, bring Necro Slime onto the field, special summoning the Copernicus, sending a Lamia to grave. Now you already have a 4, a 1, and a 1. That's enough monsters for at least your PK package you can set up next turn if you feel like you have the ability to. Or you could even use Gilgamesh at this point, sending things to grave, setting your scales, being able to special summon a monster using the pendulum effect, special summoning your Lamia back from the grave, and then utilizing Lamia and your Flame King Genghis to then go into your combo from there. So again, as I said, it is so consistent in this deck that all you realistically need is 3 DD cards in your hand. 4 is the most preferable because you can do so much more with 4 cards. Now obviously I have seen a few combos out there that only require 2, but I'm just not as much of a fan of them. I don't think they do as much to your deck, and I don't think they are as exciting because you are kind of stumped on what you've got. So it's basically like you could either go for 2 rank 8 monsters or you could go for 1 rank 8 monster. I know which one I'm going to go for because I know which one's going to have more power. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Cool, so 2 contracts to the gate, a Swirl Slime, Armageddonite, and Copernicus. Now this is actually a combo winning start already. All we need to drag out is a Lamia using the Dark Contract with the gate, and we have exactly what we need. You can even send a Necro Slime to grave, or you could send a Armageddon to grave. It's entirely up to you what you send to grave, but as long as Armageddonite, as long as Ragnarok and your Necro Slime end up in the grave by the end of this turn, you have combo. So that's what I'm saying, it is literally an overpowered deck at this point. Obviously there are the few draw hands that you just don't get what you need, but it's very rare that actually happens. So I did just have to cut there, guys. I just got a letter come through the door, and it was a very important letter that I've been waiting on for around 2 weeks now. So finally, we have got the cards that I wanted to add to this deck profile to make the extra deck equal 15 and be successfully utilized. Now, it is going to make this deck even more consistent and even better in the end game once you actually see the result of what you can have on your field. But again, it's up to you. You can take this piece out alongside other pieces and change it up to the way it suits you. So, that aside, I'm just going to show you the results of a few more test hands before I'm going to leave you to it. You guys can test out this deck yourself. If you don't have the cards, they are online on eBay, or you can get them off actual card market. This is the last one I'm going to do for you guys. The only reason being is because I'm limited for time. I have to work in just a few more hours again. So I kind of got to rush through this. If you guys are interested, again, in getting a Discord group together, I'd be absolutely fantastic. Okay, last combo I've got for you guys. I'm going to make this nice and quick. Give it a nice little rub and shuffle in there. There we are. Making it all clustered. There we go. Boom, we got 5. Let's see what flavor we've got. Let's go, come on. There we go. We have full combo already. We also have our effect veiler. We have our wear off thou. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Now you're gonna waste your wear off thou. It doesn't matter if you're gonna take 2,000 burn damage, you're gonna try and bait them out for an Ash Blossom because you wanna be able to use your Dark Contract. You even have the negate effect. Obviously, if you're going first, this isn't amazing unless they get something special, something from their hand every time you do something. There's not many actual decks that do that, so it's quite nice to see. But this right here gives us our combo. Even if we didn't have the Lamia, we had another 3 cards to pull off that PK package regardless. But the fact we have all 3 key main cards is absolutely fantastic. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to all you guys who are still supporting the channel, coming back on a regular basis, just to give your likes, to show your support by viewing my content. It does mean the world to me. I'm working crazy amount of jobs right now, and then coming home, and one of my favorite things to do is just to record and get some content out for you guys. Now, I've really appreciated all of you guys contributing your own thoughts to like what I should splash into the deck profile. I feel like I might not have proven this today fully because I haven't done a crazy amount of draws. But what I have done is I have given you that 5 card starting hand. Let's see what we get sort of thing. And it's giving you the ability to see that there is potential here for a crazy OTK to get the PK package out almost every time. I'm just gonna have a quick peek here just to see if we've got it again. I will hide that one. But it does give you that ability to just see what potential we actually have. And it is quite nice to know that you guys are still wanting this content. You are still wanting more variations of DDD. Now, there is definitely go for the splicing. I'm definitely going to recommend you testing out one deck archetype with another deck archetype. I just want to let you guys know that that does terribly hurt the consistency, and you have to be careful with that. I'm a massive fan of things like Magician Pendulums. However, they do come with a cost. That if you draw your Magicians, and obviously you're able to recycle the cards and you're able to go through their kind of their own draw abilities, but Magicians are spellcasters. They're not fiends, they're not darks, and most of them are high levels, or they're the wrong level for this deck in general. They also don't work well with our fusion summons. So if you pull a Swell Slime, but you also pull a double Iris Magician, you aren't going to be able to utilize that because it can't go into the fusion summon that you require. Now, saying that, obviously you don't need to go into a fusion, you can go straight into XEs, and that's all well and good, but you don't want to be wasting your combo if you know you could potentially run it. So try and bait out your opponent instead, try and wait for the correct opportunity to actually pull off your combo, and just try and take a step back. I do want to bring you guys a nice little stun deck profile, and that's going to be coming sometime within the next month or so. Just because there's a few cards that I want to get under lock and key and make sure I can utilize them properly, make sure I can get the ultimate rares and things, just maybe borrow those off a few of my friends. But speaking of, one last thing I did want to share with you guys, and it was more of a question actually posing to you all, but when was the last time you actually invited someone to play Yu-Gi-Oh with you? Now, I know that sounds really dumb because of course you go to locals, you go to regionals, you even play some casual matches with your friends, but I mean people outside of your current circle. When was the last time you asked one of your brothers or sisters or friends or dads, just anyone, to get involved with the concept of Yu-Gi-Oh, especially now we've got COVID on such a large scale? When was the last time that you offered, your time to go and teach someone to play this game? I know it sounds really silly, and some of you might be going, but they won't get it, it takes too long. but I do feel that we are kind of not the cause of why people don't want to play, but I definitely know that coming back into Yu-Gi-Oh after such a long time was very difficult for me, not because of the card text, but simply because of the people that were within it. And maybe that was just my circle, but it definitely meant that I had to be the one reaching out. And I feel like we could definitely, especially in these times, reach out to other people and bring them into the game. Now, with that all being said, I hope you guys had an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Stay positive as always.